Hi, thank you all. Ready? As a human being, I believe that we have a responsibility to the world we are part of. Therefore, as an artist, curator, and director of an arts organization, I approach art as a catalyst for change. I continually ask, what is the role of art in today's society? Art can be effective by raising awareness within the walls of a museum or gallery. It can work within communities to create a movement, or it can look like activism and lead revolutions. Today I'll show examples of my social practice, studio practice, and curatorial practice. In my social practice, Push the Envelope was an art product and public program enabling dialogue between artists in Chicago, Thessaloniki, and Athens. The purpose of this project was to promote cross-cultural conversation and collaboration, exposing perspectives from a multitude of backgrounds, attempting to actively engage artists in the public forum and raise awareness as a catalyst for change. Invited curators, artists, and historians led discussions for 3 intensive weeks. An exchange of knowledge, ideas, and influences spurred artists to create work in response to discussion. The next project, E Pluribus Unum, was located in Chicago. We accepted donations of fabric on Obama's National Call to Service Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we taught anyone free of charge how to sew a quilt, then donated the quilts to people who were making the transition from homelessness to housing. I've used oral histories to create relationships of understanding and bring awareness to multicultural histories. In the case of the west side of Chicago and East Garfield Park, asserting a culture's rightful place in history. The activism and beauty of the west side was overshadowed by the history of racial tension, riots, looting, and burning in the late 60s. The current residents didn't feel welcome in this plant conservatory, but in that history, an overwhelming force of caring, generosity, protection, and community was happening, and part of that saved the neighborhood and it saved the conservatory. So for the centennial celebration of this conservatory, this project was important to acknowledge and empower residents that felt disrespected and uninvited in their own neighborhood. It broke down barriers and created understanding. And next, my curatorial practice. Artists have been at the forefront of revolutions for centuries, producing work that has an immediate political impact or fuels unrest. On December 17, 2010, a Tunisian street vendor set himself on fire as an act of protest. This sparked revolution. The Arab Spring, as we know it, set a fire that spread to many countries. Citizen journalism and cultural activism employing social media and online video outlets were a key part of this, but so were artists. This exhibition shows artists as activists and visionaries with the conviction and perseverance to create in the face of chaos, danger, and death, while maintaining a commitment to seek peace. This is Pedro Reyes, and he did a project in Mexico turning guns into shovels to plant trees for the community. And this is Murad Subay, a Yemen artist. My studio practice, or object making, is this part of my work is a response to the world around me. All my practices fuel each other, and in different ways respond to the world we're living in, some more actively than others. My studio practice builds awareness in a quieter way. I work through personal narratives, history, and current stories. The layering of identity and personalization of history provides a deeper, more emotional connection, and therefore a more compassionate understanding of history, rather than an authoritative perspective. A recent body of my work addresses the ever-present issue of human migration. I don't know if you can see that. With media producing daily images, stories, statistics of refugees by sea and land, we're able to witness such struggles, failures, and triumphs. This is a human issue, and my work is an empathetic response that aims to recognize while simultaneously representing, identifying, and mourning the struggle to escape and create a better life. Some of my work responds to climate change and the resistance to it by pointing out climate change indicators, like these buoys, these data collectors, and hanging them for those disbelievers like chandeliers in the middle of a room. This show is up right now at Edgewater Gallery in Stowe. And in conclusion, we as meaning makers and change makers are constantly redefining what artistic practice is and engaging the public in new and participatory ways to create understanding driven by a sense of humanity and stewardship for this place we call home, in an effort to produce change. Art is hope, art is change. Art builds understanding and compassion and can redefine how we think or understand politicized space. I'll conclude with a quote from Yemeni artist Murad Soubey from an interview last year on ABC News. Art gives hope and expresses the situation people are living, he said. It's the voice of people. In war, all voices are voices of hatred and destruction. What we do is show that there are other voices people can listen to. In times of war, even the smallest voices may save lives. Yemeni people are in need of every voice in the world to push for stopping the war. The worst thing in war is when hope is lost. I personally also paint to protect myself from becoming hopeless. Thank you.